Hello, welcome to Texas Lone Wolf Miguel, your source for Red Pill Truth. Today we're going to do a topic called manipulation. And manipulation can come in many forms, many phrases that's often commonly used. And manipulation can be caused by a frenemy, family members, a rogue boss, a conniving co-worker, even your sibling. So we're going to cover the family. So we're going to cover 8 family manipulation tactics, how to respond to them, okay? Now, some of you may have been victims to this, okay? Oftentimes, family members will manipulate you. Guilt trips or guilt shame or whatever you call it. They really don't give a damn about you. They say they love you, but in reality, they don't. In reality, they want to control you, keep you in a little box, all in the name of love. So, remember, family can evoke a lot of emotions, all right? Emotional manipulation. For example, they go make little meetings behind your back if you're disabled or elderly, then move some people in right behind your back without talking to you. So, this could be your mother, this could be your sister, this could be your cousin or second cousin, third cousins, what have you. Or even in-laws are involved in this. And some feathers going to be ruffled. So whoever's listening to this video, press dislike if you wish. But I'm fixing to rip a family member's a new butthole that they ain't going to be able to take a poop out of. So which one that, and all that. So manipulation can happen just about by anybody. And one other thing I'm going to say, I'm going to show you how emotional, at the end of the day, you will know directly express your feelings whenever you want. Well, there's some people, they hide their feelings, hide their emotions. They speak with a hardcore logic, which can be painful, so to speak. But family ties have evoked a lot of strong emotions, and some people make deliberate use of these feelings might, for example, exploit a weakness when they want you to do things you rather not do, include things that cause you pain. So yes. Oh, well, I hope you have compassion to do this. I hope you have compassion for that. Listen, giving compassion for those around you will get you used. Okay? It'll get you used. Tips below can help you recognize common manipulation tactics and how to respond effectively, all right? Now, even in adulthood, if you're disabled or elderly and you're listening to my video here, I just want you to recognize that manipulation can take in many different forms, such as guilt tripping and things like that. What it looks like. Manipulation involves an attempt to control someone else. All right? They do this subtly without discussing business with you, so to speak. And sometimes you're going to have to prune that toxic family tree, getting rid of toxic people out of your life. All right. Recognizing manipulation with a family can be particularly difficult when one person is a parent, older sibling, or younger sibling, or a relative who has some authority. Okay? If you believe you're supposed to do what they say no matter what, you might be struggling to challenge this pattern even in adulthood. All right? Red flags. Okay, we're going to talk about the red flags. You may not recognize manipulation immediately since it's often subtle But you might notice these key signs. You often feel tricked or pressured into doing things. They don't even talk to you about it, okay? It seems that, oh, you can't do anything right, but it's no longer seemed possible to say no. They often twist the truth. You often feel guilty or confused. Your efforts seem never good enough. If you are in this, then get the state involved. If they dare you to get the state involved, then go ahead and get the state involved. You have rights. Right now, you are the sole person in your own custody. So anybody else that wants to use you, they need to take a hint that disabled and elderly have rights, just like anybody else. Just because they look like a honeypot, or just because they got money, you can just sit there and mooch off of them. If it ain't your money, then it's a crime. It's simple as that. All right? Invalidation of feelings. If someone wants you to go along with their desires, try to make you believe your feelings don't matter. Family member may invalidate your feelings by not giving you a chance to share, interrupting or talking over you, dismissing your concerns. This is a top one. And reprimanding or punishing you for showing emotion, telling you how you should feel. Cut them off. Cut them off. Cut them people off out of your life. For example, you tell your mother you don't attend your grandmother's birthday because you know your cousin who abused and bullied you in childhood will attend. She replies by commenting how selfish you are. Haven't you forgotten about by now? It was a long time ago. Nothing's going to happen at that party. Can't you be polite for a few hours? Her continued attempts to persuade you. See, this is manipulation. Whether or not she's your mother, listen, you are not a ward of the state. You are not in state custody. Okay? So you just put them in their place, so to speak. Over time, invalidation will make you internalize the idea your feelings really aren't important. My feelings are important. I intend to make them important. This belief can extend to other relationships, decrease your vulnerability to further manipulation. You cut that pattern off early, you will be set free. Emotional blackmail. A family member using emotional blackmail will make deliberate appeal to your feelings, trying to convince you to do whatever they want. This tactic follows a clear pattern. They make a demand. If you resist, outright refuse, they pressure you into giving in. This involves flattery or threats designed to engage your emotion in a sense of obligation. When you agree to do what they want, they might reward you with kindness and affection. Get out. Cut them off. This won't last long. They know you're going along with what they want and use the right tactic, so they won't hesitate to blackmail you again. All right? Gaslighting. A pattern of gaslighting leaves you confused, doubting your memory, questioning your perception of reality. Over time, this manipulative tactic can have a serious impact on your self-perception, and mental health. Someone may gaslight you, may counter your memory by denying events. Insist they never told you something important that they didn't. Pretend to forget they made a promise. Try to convince you of something that never happened. Insist you're imagining things are lying. All right? Guilt tripping. People often use guilt to get you to take responsibility for something that isn't your fault. Stand your damn grounds. Whoever listens to my message, stand your grounds. When you feel guilty, you're more likely to do what the person wants, this including to try to resolve problems for them. Resolve your own problems. Don't. If they're the problem, cut them out of your life. Because they ain't that damn important. Guilt is always malicious. In fact, feeling guilty if you did something wrong and someone else expressed their feelings to you isn't necessarily a bad thing. But when a family member regularly uses guilt to make you feel bad or do things you'd rather not do, this usually suggests manipulation. So yeah, some old felon can manipulate you for money, but family members are no different. Everybody's going to manipulate a disabled or elderly. Everybody's going to manipulate them, pretend that they're on their side. It's time to cut them off. Withholding affection. A family member may offer a conditional love or affection. Remember what I said. Conditional. All right? They may offer conditional love or affection will demonstrate kindness and other caring behaviors only when you do what they want. When you make a mistake or disappoint them in some way, they may punish you or criticize you, imply they don't love you, blame you rather than external circumstance for a mistake or failure. This type of manipulation often involves isolation tactics such as silent treatment, saying no one cares about you, threatening other family members with punishment and life if they support you or show you affection. True enough, that has happened to me. That has happened to me before. And it won't happen again. So, anyways. Victimhood. There's people that show victimhood, all right? Some people manipulate you by taking the role of a victim. You know what? They can get glad in the same pants they got mad in, all right? Call their bull BS out. Some people manipulate by playing the role of victim. They might blame others for difficulty, downplay their own responsibility, avoid doing anything to help themselves. You may also notice they turn the situation around and make it seem as you're to blame. If you had not moved out, I wouldn't have forgotten to take my medication. Or I guess it's your fault, baloney. It's their fault for not doing what they're supposed to be doing. A pattern of this behavior, referred as a victim mentality, can involve exaggeration of problems and weaknesses. So, these concerns may be a truth to them. Some people really keep getting dealt a bad hand. But this behavior becomes manipulative when someone else uses these difficulties to earn your sympathy and make you feel as if they can't function without support, particularly when they make no effort to change the situation. Aggression or personal attacks. Aggression and manipulations tend to involve more obvious attempts to control your behavior, including shaming or mocking you, scapegoating or blaming you when things go wrong, put down, insult, harsh criticism, other tactics designed to make you feel inferior, threats, and intimidation. This can be done by a younger sibling as well. So I am going to put this out for awareness for disabled and the elderly out there. The person may manipulate to often rationalize verbal abuse by saying things like, I'm just telling you these things for your own good. You never amount to anything with some tough love. Learn to take a joke. You won't get far in life. You're always sensitive. Did you know that? Shifting the goalpost. Okay, this manipulation will leave you feeling inadequate, unworthy. One key sign someone might be doing this is you can't seem to meet the goals that they set, no matter how hard you try. But this failure doesn't stem from your shortcoming. Instead, they set overly demanding criteria, nitpick at tiny mistakes, add new expectations every time you think you finally succeeded. Here's an example. You want to study abroad for summer but can't afford it. Your parents offer to pay half, just as long as you promise to help out with some projects around the house over spring break. You eagerly agree. You spend your break doing practically everything around the house without any reminders. So, when you bring up your GPA, even though they hadn't mentioned anything about grades and make the deal, they say you're only pulling the 3.0, you must not be studying. College is expensive enough. Why should we pay you to go part to another country? Bring your grades up first, and then we'll talk about studying abroad another time. That's breaking promises right there. How to respond. Deal with family members, co-workers, colleagues, business people out there that likes to browbeat and manipulate, want you to benefit them only. How to deal with family manipulation. Other toxic behavior can be stressful, to say the least. When you feel certain about how to handle a situation, you may avoid responding at all. This may help you avoid conflict. It also allows manipulation to continue. The strategy below can offer some way to react productively, protect your well-being. That's very important, okay? Call out the manipulation. First good step, acknowledge you're aware of the manipulation. It's normal to feel upset and pressure, but remember, that's how they want you to feel. Try grounding yourself or use some breath, taking extra, cool down, relax. Use respectful language and I statement. Avoid sounding confrontational. This means expressing your own feelings and thoughts rather than simply making accusation about the person. So, some example may say, it's upsetting when something don't go as planned. I wish things had worked out, but I have no reason to feel guilty. We made a deal. I did everything you asked. When you go back on your word, I feel deceived and disrespected. I understand you may not remember saying you'd pick me up from the clinic, but I have your message if you'd like to see it. Throw it up in their faces. Let them know how it makes you feel. Sometimes giving the manipulators to taste their own medicine can be counterproductive, so to speak. The good intentions sometimes lie behind manipulation tactic. It doesn't excuse a person's behavior. By telling them that their behavior affects you negatively, you can help them realize that manipulation is the answer. So, acknowledge their perspective. I know you stress. You have a lot to do for this gathering. I've asked you before not to shout at me. When you don't respect that request, I feel angry and sad. And when you lied to get my help, I lose trust in you. So I don't feel much like helping when that happens. That's a very good answer right there. That right there will. Your safety comes first. You don't need to feel comfortable talking to them. Then bring someone you trust, perhaps the state or the legal authorities. All right? That should send them a message. Boundaries are very important. Many family manipulators don't understand, don't give a damn about boundaries. As long as you keep giving, they don't care about boundaries. Boundary clearly states your needs and helps outline things you will and won't do. Manipulators hate boundaries. Remember that, okay? For example, you might say, I need honesty in my relationship. If you keep lying, I'll limit our communication to essential conversation only. That's a pretty good boundary there. When you set boundary with someone, they may accuse you of withholding or punish them. Remember that boundaries exist to protect yourself first. They give you an opportunity to decide which behavior you will accept before any potential harmful action take place. Others can and choose to respect your boundaries and continue interacting the way that works for you. You can set boundaries for yourself. This might help you limit involvement in a manipulative person, such as choosing to leave when they use certain tactic or deciding to see them when others are present. Boundaries can help you curb how much you offer someone emotionally. This may mean you avoid sharing details about your personal life with that person. Great. Whew, Lord, excuse me. Avoid isolating yourself. It's not always easy to talk about the manipulation and other abuse. It's often to help discuss what's happening with someone you trust. Take it. So, okay. Um, I need to go to get me some more coffee. I'm feeling pretty good, y'all. Yummy, 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 yummy. Talk about beliefs. Okay, it often helps to discuss what's happening with someone you trust, preferably the state or the social worker, because family members, they don't have your interests at heart. Or another family member, nah, don't do that. Or friend, nope. Teacher, nope. Or mentor, nope. Or romantic partner, nope. They, what you tell them will be used against you. Remember that. It can be a huge relief when other person understands and offers support. They will not do it. Avoiding family members entirely can be difficult. Instead, you might want to prioritize connection to ones that treat you with sincerity and offer unconditional love and kindness. That right there isn't. That there doesn't exist. Not in my eyes, it doesn't. Finding support, dysfunction in your family doesn't affect just your immediate well-being. It can damage your self-esteem, affect your ability to develop a healthy relationship as an adult. It can even show up in your own parenting. Wow. I didn't even know that. Now, a family counselor or a therapist who specializes in family relationship dynamic can help you address problematic behaviors and prevent these long-term effects. Now, counselor and therapist will be the best route to go because they can go in your mind and unplug whatever is causing you pain and help you develop a strategy to combat these manipulators. A therapist can help you navigate ongoing situations by offering guidance on setting healthy boundaries, exploring positive communication tactics, yes, teaching skills to cope with distressing feelings, helping to get comfortable with speaking up for yourself. Praise God on that. This is a must-have. Now, for those who are on disability, look up your insurance plan to see if there is a therapist that is covered by the insurance can help you get these right here, these four things right here. I'm telling you, they can help you navigate around this. In therapy, you can get help for depression, anxiety, other mental health symptoms often associated with toxic family dynamics. And yes, that exists. A therapist can help you explore strategies for getting to know people if you find it difficult to open up. Often, a therapist will get the state involved, and the state can take action on your behalf to protect you as a disabled or elderly. They will take action to protect you. So, remember, the bottom line is addressing problematic behaviors with manipulative family member or members sometimes improve the situation. If it doesn't, just remember, you can't change anyone who doesn't want to change. Leave the negative Nancy's in the dust. You can't change them. Listen, family members try to change people. They don't have the damn training, okay? And they wind up getting damaged and being dysfunctional, just like that person that's dysfunctional is. You might feel some duty towards your family. No, you don't owe them nothing, okay? At the end, you may have to put your own well-being first. You have no obligation to maintain a relationship with someone who continues to hurt you. Sometimes loosening or snipping your family ties is the healthiest option. So anyways, just wanted to touch base on, this is real. So, emotional manipulation happens. It can, emotional manipulation can undermine close relationship, leave manipulation victims feeling powerless, confused, frustrated, yet All people manipulate others from time to time, often without intending to. Excuse me. And some definition of emotional manipulation is so broad that they can apply any behavior, even something innocuous as a baby crying for food. Okay, so when an attempt to get one's needs met or achieve one's goals actually form a manipulation. All right, when manipulation crosses the line into emotional abuse, what? Here are some red flags that might signal serious relationship problems. All right, what is manipulation? Manipulation is to sway a person's emotion to get them to act a specific way or feel a certain thing. While it's common in interpersonal relationships, it also frequently happens to a broader scale. Advertisers routinely attempt to manipulate people's emotions to get them to buy a product. Political candidates manipulate voters to win votes, convince voters of untrue claims, change voters' opinion about a given issue. We're all manipulators, okay? This right here, we're all manipulators. It says, okay, licensed practitioner, you know, therapists, okay? Now, a Texas therapist who works with many clients. They handle a wide range of individual and interpersonal concerns. Socially acceptable manipulation such as smiling, making eye contact is all considered healthy ways to increase chances of human connection. When manipulation is used to avoid vulnerability, establish power, often in others, it can become unhealthy. People who deliberately manipulate or deliberately manipulative often do so in attempt to avoid healthier strategies such as direct communication of their needs or mutual empathy and vulnerability. All right. Well, just to give you heads up. Now we're going to go through the 12. We're going to go through the 12 common manipulation tactics, okay? People can manipulate others by hundreds of tactics. Most common include using intentional emotional connection to control another person's behavior. All right, for example, an abusive person may manipulate a person by moving very quickly in a romantic relationship, may overwhelm their victim and with loving gesture to lower their guard, make them feel indebted. Playing on a person's insecurity. This is commonly done by high school tick-tail teenagers all the way up in the early 20s range. They do this to disabled as well. They play on a person's insecurities. So, with that being said, this is a popular tactic among advertisers when the cosmetic company makes a person feel unattractive or old and works well in an interpersonal relationship. For instance, someone may make their romantic partner think no one else could possibly love them. Okay? Lie and denial. Manipulators may bombard their victim with lies. If they're caught, they may deny a lie or cover it up with another falsehood. Hyperbole and generalization. Okay? It's difficult to respond to allegations of never being loved or never working hard. Specific details can be debated, while vague accusations are often harder to dispute. All right. Changing the subject in an argument, one person's behavior, individual may deflect attention from themselves by attacking their critic. Deflection often takes form of, well, that's about X. For example, when one spouse expresses concern about their partner's drug use, the partner may attack their spouse's parenting skills. Moving the goalposts. This happened when a manipulative person often shifts the criteria one meet in order to satisfy them. For example, a bully may use their coworkers' clothes as an excuse to harass them. If the individual change outfits, the bully may claim the person won't deserve professional respect until they change their hairstyle, their accent, and other miscellaneous trait. Using fear to control another person, okay? For instance, a person may use threats of violence, physical intimidation, and body languages. That's true. Family members are right there, are known to use some of these here. Using social iniquities to control another person. For example, a neurotypical person may attempt to use congenital disability to demean another person to dismiss their experience. All right. Giving a person a silent treatment. That's another form of, okay. Now, oh, I forgot to cover this other one right here. Sorry, my bad. Passive aggression. This broad category of behavior includes many strategies such as guilt tripping, giving backhanded compliments, or more. It avoids displeasure or anger without directly expressing the emotion. Excuse me. Giving a person a silent treatment. It's okay to ask for time to reflect on the argument, tell someone who deeply hurt you that you no longer wish to speak to them, but ignoring a person to punish them and make them feel fearful of them is a manipulative tactic. Gaslighting, we already covered that. Recruiting others to help with the manipulation, for example, it could be your cousin getting with another cousin to move in your house behind your back in the name of, making a contract that is no longer good to be followed through. That's worthless. Listen, family members don't need to be making contract with family members because that contract will be broken every time. The family member's word to a family member's word is null and void. And a manipulative person may combine these tactics or alternate between them depending on the context. All right. Why do people manipulate others? Well, not all manipulation has malicious intent, even when it causes immense harm. Some common reasons people engage in manipulative includes poor communication skills. Some people may be uncomfortable with direct communication. Others may have grown up in houses where manipulative communication was the norm. Okay, now you get this. And a desire to avoid connection. Some people treat others as mean to an end to use manipulative to control them. This can include cousins. This sometimes is a symptom of personality disorder such as narcissistic personality. All right, fear. People may engage in manipulation out of fear instead of fear of abandonment. This happens during breakups or relationship fights. Defensiveness. Manipulation can be a way of avoiding blame. While some people avoid blame as their way to control abuse or another person, others do so because they fear judgment. Having low self-esteem or struggle face their own shortcomings. Social norms. Some form of manipulation are normal, perhaps even beneficial. Example, most people learn that it's important to be friendly and cheerful around work, colleagues, in order to professionally advance. Marketing, advertising, other financial, political incentives. Okay. Now, entire industries are dedicated to manipulating people's emotions to change their minds, convince them to buy or vote in a certain way. So, either way, manipulation is always around you. But you're going to have to discern which is good, which is bad, so to speak. In many cases, manipulative individuals are not taught effective communication skills, or worse, they're punished by an influential figure by expressing needs or want. As a result, original means for connecting gets overridden and replaced with strategies centered around avoiding any sense of fault. Okay, this is inadequately achieved in two primary ways: indirect communication or refusal to be accountable for actions, and so forth. Protecting yourself from emotional manipulation. If you have fallen for manipulative tactics in the past, you know that you are not at fault. Nearly everyone's manipulated at some point. There's no way to prevent all manipulation. It's going to be around you, okay? To the listener of my video, it's going to be around you, okay? All right. However, a number of strategies can reduce the impact of emotional manipulation to help you set clear boundaries. This includes communicating in the direct, clear, specific ways. All right. Direct communication models of behavior you hope for in a relationship and can easier identify manipulation. Understanding when manipulation is normal when it's not, okay? Most people occasionally make passive-aggressive or manipulative comments. Manipulation is more problematic and may even be abusive when it's part of a systemic attempt to control or harm another person. Setting clear boundaries around manipulation. When a person attempts to manipulate you, tell them how you want them to treat you and follow your own guideline. For example, Mom, I don't understand you. I understand you sacrifice a lot for me, but that doesn't mean you get to belittle me. I can't talk to you about this until you will stop changing the damn subject. Well, I understand mothers are very important people in your life, but they tend to manipulate disabled people to serve other people's selfish needs, so to speak. Ask for insight for trusted third parties, preferably a therapist. Okay, this can be risky since manipulative people sometimes recruit outsiders. Be careful who they recruit because they could be accomplices to them. Okay, but if you have a spouse, friend, or family member, don't trust any of those people. Those people do not have your interest at heart. Remember that. Trust a therapist because a therapist will get you the help and get you to be safe. Remember that. They may offer a helpful insight. The therapist will do that. I've already covered this part right here. Victim of chronic manipulation and emotional abuse may find relief in therapy. Therapists can work for you to identify manipulation, break free from an abusive relationship, reduce the risk of being trapped in a relationship such again. Okay? In therapy, you develop healthy boundaries and work through any reluctance. You have to enforce those boundaries. Families and couples who struggle with manipulation can find help in therapy. Therapists may work with all parties to understand why direct communication is a challenge for them. Cultivate healthier communication patterns, find better ways to get their needs met. So this is very important here, folks. Now, six signs someone is manipulating you, all right? You ever been love bombed? Love bomb is a form of manipulation, okay? Did you know that? Love bombing is a form of manipulation. And coercing you into taking money out for them or moving in people behind your back without talking to you when you're the person who's bringing in the money. You know, with them other people singing sob stories that they ain't got nowhere else to go, and they shack right up underneath you while you pay all the bills and use your utilities, use your water, use your service, and use your space. This can actually be condescending. And when family members unite behind your back without your presence, then you are manipulated by them. Are you feeling confused or guilty, not sure why? You could be sensing manipulation. Identify the signs that can help, okay? Emotional manipulation in a relationship can be difficult to recognize. Some manipulation tactic can be so subtle you may end up constantly examining your own behavior rather than the other person's. It's very important to take a look at that. Being on the receiving end of manipulative tactic relationship can have an impact on your mental health. Cut them off. Cut those people off. Learn by identify the sign, you can protect yourself and act on the situation, okay? What is manipulation in relationships, okay? Now, psychological manipulation right here refers to words, omissions, actions in an attempt to control how other person feels, thinks, or behaves. Okay, this may affect their perception of themselves, the relationship, and the world in general. Persistent manipulation in a relationship can affect your self-esteem, may cause you to experience symptoms of anxiety or depression. Sometimes the manipulators don't realize they're causing the other person depression, but they just want to continue the little pattern of their the way they were practicing all along. That is wrong, but you just want to roll with the flow instead of just stopping it right in its tracks. So manipulation can happen on a large scale from media coverage, advertising, political campaigns. And it often isn't exclusive to family and romantic. It can also turn up in friendship and even work-related relationships. 6 sign manipulation in a relationship, okay? There are several signs to look out for may indicate you may be experiencing manipulation in your relationship. Number 1, you try to ignore your gut. Listen, that red flag may be your gut feeling something ain't right. That's your conscience speaking to you, my friend. Okay? The first red flag may be that your gut feeling that something isn't right, or you persistently end up doing things you don't want to do. You may ignore this feeling and try to convince yourself that everything's okay. The phrase "trust your gut" is particularly useful when you think you might experience manipulation. For example, you may say you're upset because it seems your partner is always on the phone during your dates. You bring it up to them, but you notice they get really mad really fast. The conversation then turns to how you seem to ruin your special date by causing an argument. So you forget about how you wanted to say and try to appease them instead. Meanwhile, your partner checks their phone again. What just happened, you ask yourself, but brush it off because you want to deal with more friction. Number 2, you wonder, is it you? Hey, this is very important. You start to doubt yourself and your own motives. You may be on the receiving end of a manipulation tactic. Maybe you were confident in your ability to handle a particular situation. Now you're beginning to question your capabilities. Listen, family members are worse. They try to paint that handicap on your back and then try to go seek somebody else you don't know to talk in your spot and cut them off. It's time to cut off that family tree of the toxic people. And now you're beginning to question your capabilities, and you may even question whether you're the problem in the relationship. No, you're not. They are. For example, you're trying to tell your partner again how you feel about them, spending so much time on their phone, but they say you do it too, and you're always trying to find a reason to fight, break up, and let them go. You don't feel this actually the case, but after the 3rd time you hear this argument, you wonder what the problem is, you not letting go of the small thing. Maybe just chill and enjoy the evening. Yeah, that's manipulation right there. You feel guilty. A common sign that someone might be emotionally manipulating you be that you started to feel guilty or embarrassed for acting a certain way in a relationship. For example, you work 2 jobs, hardly have time for yourself, then come your first day off in a month, you decide to spend it at home in your PJs watching TV. Then when you tell this to your mother, you know she seems upset. Well, tell her to get over it. All right? Tell her to get glad in the same pants she got mad in. Then when you ask her what's wrong, she tells you she can't believe you are not coming to visit her on your day off. Tell her you need a day off to rest. You got to recharge. You feel so guilty you end up spending your day helping her around the home. You ain't giving yourself a time off. Cut them off. Cut the people off. Although this scenario can play in way many different reasons, it's a red flag. You constantly feel guilty for not saying and doing what you want to. The manipulator is expressing displeasure about something you say or do. Well, especially a longtime family friend who's always had her nose in other people's affairs, it's time for her to butt her nose out of it. Be you the blonde, black, brown, whatever walk of life you are. Always got to get your nose in where it don't belong. This can involve someone who's 60 years old, someone who's 40 years old, someone who's 20 years old, someone who's 30 years old, or a ticket-tail teen, which they need to mind their own business. Did you know that? Then you end up making the other person happy and relieve your guilt. No, you don't need to do that. Your sense of self is blurred. The common sign of manipulation in a relationship when you start losing a sense of who you are after following someone else's overt or covert demand to give up your opinions and interests. This is not healthy. This is either for a disabled or elderly. Don't do this. In some romantic couples, one partner may adopt the other partner's lifestyle and interests to avoid conflict, for example. Don't do this. You are unique. It may be that your partner persistently avoids spending time with your friends and family or doing things that you enjoy. If you want to spend time with them, you seem to have to do what they want. Tell them to get the heck out of your life and get out of your presence. In family relationship, you don't feel you fully express who you are as a person, as well as your life choices. You may act differently when you're around them. This has happened to me in the past, okay? All right? You walk on eggshells. This has happened to me before. All right? Perhaps you think of fear as intense emotional reaction to a threat. But fear can manifest in a hesitation to act or say certain things in order to avoid a conflict or friction. You may not be aware or how you feel. You may automatically avoid certain topics or action. Some people may use anger as a manipulative tactic. Their outbursts can get other people to back off or change their behavior to avoid the reaction. You may see this dynamic when a parent warns a child not to do something or the parent may get mad. Yeah, I've been threatened before. All right? As an adult, you may also become hyper aware of your behavior or experience signs of anxiety without a clear trigger. Listen to the disabled or elderly that's paying the bills in your own house. You do not have to walk on eggshells. The other person in your house that's living there is invading your space. They need to leave. You could think about every decision in terms of what will the other person do. They can't do nothing. For example, you may want to go out to your friend's birthday party, but you know your partner doesn't like them. If they don't like them, kick them out of your house. Last time you spent time with your friend, your partner didn't speak to you for hours. Tell them to get the hell out. Your house, your rules, disabled, elderly. This is you have every right to peaceful life in this world. This time you think about it twice before accepting the invitation. Anticipate you may have to deal with your partner's displeasure. If you do, forget your partner's displeasure. Tell them to accept it or get the hell out of your house. It's simple. You begin to question your mental health. Listen, your mental health is very important, okay? not only manipulation causes stress and anxiety, you can also make you feel confused and insecure about your behavior and emotions. You may begin to wonder if your reaction or symptoms of mental health condition. Manipulation tactics like gaslighting are most often cause of these feelings. For example, you're discussing your next vacation with your partner, and they ask why you're not considering Cancun. Well, it's the most dangerous place there is. Don't go to Cancun. It's most dangerous. The water is unsanitary. It causes infections in the body. Remind them that the visit the last time they had a terrible time. They reply, I never said such a thing. You imagined it. Well, they did say that. Kick them out of your life. You don't need no manipulators in your life. You're convinced they did complain several times and they wouldn't return to this place. Maybe you did. No, you didn't imagine it. They said that. After all, according to your partner, seemed to, well, kick that partner out of your life. They're manipulators. They belong out there on the cold streets. Don't help them because your mental health matters. And gaslighting is manipulation. Love bombing is manipulation. Coercing the disabled person is manipulation. Meeting behind the disabled back is a form of manipulation. When in doubt, get the Commonwealth or state involved to protect your rights. If it means going against the grain. Now, it can happen to anyone. This manipulation can, all right? Manipulation can happen to anyone. Anyone. So, all right? It can happen to anyone in any kind of relationships, okay? From friends to romantic partners to parents, family relationships, even colleagues that your boss might have a manipulative tendencies, okay? So to speak. Yes, manipulative, they can be hard to recognize. I can spot them a mile away, okay? And it can sometimes be substitute. And yes, I already read this. I've already read this. Okay, I already went over this, okay? All right. So look at this. Sometimes, you know, all right. 19 red flags you're being manipulated by, being manipulated according to the therapist, okay? Now, emotional manipulation is by very nature underhanded and tough to spot. So how do you recognize this, okay? So, emotional manipulation is a form of abuse found in many types of relationships, including between romantic, family members, and friends and coworkers. Off subtle and challenging to recognize, so to speak. So, we're going to go over these here. Now, they make you doubt your own reality. This is called gaslighting. Make you doubt your own reality. They isolate you from other relationships, yes. They start fights often. You often end up apologizing even if you don't know why. Did you know that? I'm going to put this here in the description so you can see it. Now, you ever heard of triangulation? They bring outside people into disagreements. This is called triangulation. This tactic makes it harder to stand up for yourself. As the manipulator brings in family, friends, co-workers on their side, they will call in others in their circle to help resolve the issue makes it seem if you're the problem. Cut them out. Cut those people out. All right? Yep, cut them out. They get close too fast. Emotional manipulators that may share their intimate secrets, vulnerabilities with you right away for you, which may create a feeling of closeness. And I also tell you it's for your own good. And also they project their feelings onto you. They twist facts. They discount concerns. They one up your problems. They're always just joking when they say something mean or rude. If this happens to you, get the state or commonwealth in this. They use your insecurities against you. This is commonly done by family members or cousins or whatever, what have you. They make you sound out of control or unreasonable. They say they're never wrong. They use guilt trip ultimatums. Now, get the state or commonwealth involved, because everybody has a chance to live a healthy life, free from drama, free from anything outside. And pretty much now we're going to go over the traits of manipulative people, okay? They avoid responsibilities. They detect weaknesses. All right? I'm gonna put this here in there. They have no boundaries. They don't care about you. They rationalize behavior. They talk bad. Way to cope with them? Ignore them. And have clear boundaries. Don't give in. Don't react. Take a time out. I'm going to put this here into the description, because this here is very helpful. And remember, to the ones who are being manipulated, they prey on your qualities. All right? They prey on your qualities. Family members are very guilty on this. So, I'm going to go ahead and go to WebMD and do this. It's natural in people to experience problem in relationship growth. Sometimes problems stem from emotions or greed, or type of problem that surfaces in the relationship is manipulation. This is a problem that leads others along the way. Learn signs of manipulation, what to do about it if it surfaces in a relationship with others. All right? What is manipulation? Manipulation is to exercise harmful influence over others. People who manipulate others attack their mental, emotional side to get what they want. The person who's manipulated is called a manipulator. All right? They seek to create an imbalance of power, take advantage of the victim to get the power, control, benefits, or privileges at the expense of the victim. Okay? Manipulation can happen in close or casual relationships. They are more common in closely informed relationships. In a way that everyone can manipulate others to get what they want. Manipulation defines any attempt to sway someone's emotions to get them act to feel a certain way. All right? Manipulators have common tricks they use to make you feel irrational, more likely to give in to their requests. All right? Most common is guilt, complaining, comparing, lying, denying, feigning ignorance and innocence, blame, mind games. Well, signs of manipulation. Okay? This is very important on WebMD. Manipulation can happen in many forms. In fact, sometimes kindness can be a form of manipulation, depending on the intent. When questions are raised, any form of influence is considered around that manipulation. Whether manipulation has good or bad intentions, it's still an attempt to undermine your rational thinking. People who manipulate others have common traits that you can look out for. They include, okay, these are traits. They know your weakness, how to exploit them. They use your insecurities against you. They convince you to give up something important to you and make more dependent on them. Does that sound familiar? If they're successful in their manipulation, they will continue to do so until you're able to get out of the situation. Other signs of manipulation is location advantage. Manipulator will try to bring you out of your comfort zone, places that you're familiar with, to have an advantage over you. This can be any place that manipulator feels ownership or in control. Break free from that, all right? Manipulation of facts. That can happen. They can actively lie to you, make excuses, blame you, strategic share facts about them, and all that. Exaggeration, generalization, cruel humor. All right, we already talked about gaslighting, passive aggression, constant judging. So treating this is hard to identify to admit when it's happening to you. You're not at fault for having manipulation happen to you. You are no way to prevent manipulation because it's an issue of a manipulator. It's up to a manipulator to find help. All right? However, there are ways to reduce the emotional impact of manipulation, okay? Clear communication in clear and direct and specific ways. Understand when manipulation normally needs to be addressed. Set boundaries around manipulation. Find a way to let other person know you don't understand that they're manipulating you, that you don't want to be part of that conversation. Seek out trusted individuals that will be a therapist. Avoid family members because they don't have no interest. They don't have your back. They do not have your interest. They don't have it. If they did, the problem would be resolved, so to speak. All right? Now, being able to identify manipulation, a large part of putting into it. If it's coming from a loved one, it can be difficult to seek help. All right? However, manipulation can take a toll on your own emotional and well-being. Therefore, it's important that you are able to find a safe way out of that situation. Now, over here on that WebMD, support and resources. If you feel like you're getting manipulated by a loved one, friend, or a coworker, it's important to reach out to a trusted resource to find help. Resources to consider include a counselor, therapist, Don't go to your friends. Don't go to no trusted family members because they don't have your back. They do not have your back. Did you get that? And National Abuse Hotline, they have your back right there, okay? Now, I've already concluded this video on manipulation, all right? And I'm going to include a bunch of links to the articles in the description box, all right? I want to say thank you very much for listening to this. I'm helping to bring awareness to what is going on around people. Manipulation of you is not your fault, okay? It's those people that are doing it to gain advantage over you. They're the ones at fault, and they're the ones should know better than to go out to make you bend to serve others, which is to benefit them, okay? Now, thank you for listening, and comment below. And if you are being manipulated, look for help in a hotline or a licensed therapist. They will help you out, okay? Peace.